What's good, y'all? Elite Live Streams. We back with another one. How you guys doing out there? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? We're in a new week. Happy Christmas week to everybody out there who celebrates the holidays. Salute to all of you guys out there. If you do not celebrate the holidays, hope you're having a good time out there. Hope you're with your family. Hope everything's well. All right, guys. So, going across my algorithms and, doing what I do, the algorithm gods just give you videos and they send you stuff that's just very informative and stuff that you can really build off of. And I felt like this was a video that I could really build off of because the conversation couldn't be hotter right now. We're talking about Black Americans, we're talking about Africans, we're talking about Black Americans have done in this country in comparison to what goes on over there in Africa and everywhere else. And so I came across this video by an African who titled his video, Africans Have Built Nothing. And so I felt it was a really good video to react to because I always say on this channel, Black Americans are builders, right? We've built so much, we do so much. And I think that sometimes, as much as we've done, the covert, right, ideology is to discredit, to make us feel like we haven't done anything, to try to take us away from what we truly are and who we truly are. And I feel like I needed to have something for a comparison, right? Because I've been seeing as well where a lot of these Africans are saying that Black Americans are obsessed with Africans and that we're hateful towards them. And I completely disagree. I think what's happening right now, based on the delineation, right, is that we are holding up a mirror to not only just Africans, but to everyone who has disrespected Black Americans, what we've built in this country, and the things that we've contributed to. So it's important for me to continue to hold up that mirror, right? And to make sure that we're going to hold the line and be consistent, right? Be consistent in our data, being consistent in our talking points, being consistent in how we are expressing ourselves in this time right now. So I thought it was super important to make sure that we do that and we continue that on this channel. So let me bring up this video for you guys so we can have, some good dialogue and some really, really good just overall outlook on what's going on and how we can go ahead and make the comparisons. So here we go. This is brother by the name of Bantu Page. And he has, like I said, the title is Africans Have Built Nothing. So let's get into it. Let's do a little reaction. Let's have some fun with this. And let's make sure, like I said, that we are keeping the information right in their faces, right? We are holding up the mirror so that you guys can see exactly what we're saying. And not only that, someone who is African, this guy's African, he's saying this. So let's listen to him in his own words, okay?
Black African countries can't build successful economies. Sub-Saharan Africa is often referred to as the poverty capital of the world, holding the distinction of being home to 8 of the world's top 10 poorest countries.
All right, guys. So that's off top, right? Let's start right there. They say Africa is considered one of the most impoverished countries in the entire world, right? And so I've seen this a lot where a lot of people are saying that Black Americans are living in terrible conditions. We're in the ghettos, we're on welfare, all this stuff. But when you actually look at this, the facts tell us otherwise, right? And what countries are on here, right? So we got Burundi, we got Central African Republic, we got Yemen, Mozambique, Malawi, Congo, Somalia, Liberia. Okay, let's keep going.
The continent produces or manufactures little of significance and faces significant challenges in education, weak and corrupt institutions, research and development, infrastructure, and governance.
All right, so there you go. These institutions that a lot of people talk about Black Americans, and what do they say? They say that Black Americans are, undereducated. They say that we have not built anything. They say that our institutions are terrible, but in reality, this is what's going on over there. Okay, this is what Africa has going on, right? So let's continue. Okay.
The nearly 50 countries in sub-Saharan Africa exhibit similar deficiencies across these critical areas. When Africa is mentioned globally, poverty typically comes to mind. Many Africans seek to immigrate to Europe, North America, and other regions rather than stay in Africa itself.
And we talk about this all the time, the fleeing nature, them leaving their own countries, them building up what they have with the resources that they have, the enriched soil, the land, the resources, natural resources that they have on their own continent. They're leaving that to come here and eat off of the table that Black Americans have built. And I thought it was an interesting perspective because we have to make sure that we are keeping the facts. And like I said, holding up the mirror so that they can understand, hey guys, like this is what the stats are telling us. This isn't just Black American rhetoric, okay? This is what the stats are saying, right?
This brings us to the crux of this video. Africans do not know the mathematics on how to build prosperous economies. I posit that Black Africans can't build successful economies. When you lack an understanding of economic principles, this will likely hinder your ability.
This is what I be talking about. They try to discredit and they try to downplay the intelligence of Black Americans and what we've built here, right? And the biggest component of this is the fact that Black Americans built from nothing, right? All of the information, the education that we were given and the things that we contributed was out the mud, right? We didn't have any backing or help for us to be able to invent the things that we invented, to be able to change, right? The country, to be able to contribute, not only in just a technological way, but also in a way that helped the economy, thinking outside the box, creating things, inventions that have changed the trajectory of the American establishment. What Black Americans have created is so vast, right? And that's based on what? Us doing it ourselves, right? Us not sitting back and allowing things to be dictated to us, us taking the initiative to educate ourselves, to put ourselves in the hardest spots to be able to grow the most. And that's the part where I have to make sure that we hold up that mirror, because he's speaking this. Africans are not doing the same, right? But they come over here, and they talk about their degrees and their fake doctorates and all this stuff. But in reality, when you look at the landscape of what's going on over there, the facts do not match what they're talking about, right?
To implement effective economic policies that could transform your country into a thriving economy. Africans lack the skills needed to transform it into a financial superpower.
What did I say on my last videos when I was talking about this? I said Black Americans, especially during the slave era, we had the skills, right? We built the systems in order for us to know how to build, in order for us to know how to take the infrastructure, for us to know how to better the country and our situation, right? And so when you have those skills, right, when you are the ones who are the builders, the ones who are creating the infrastructure, the ones who are inventing, naturally, we are going to become a superpower off of the backs of that. And that's why I always said that Black Americans, we created the American dream. We created the American propaganda of us being a superpower. That was on the backs of our ancestors. Our ancestors were the ones who were building, using their skills, and also taking that skill set to create not only things to help ourselves, but to clearly help everyone else. And that's just a fact.
What is an economy? An economy is a system composed of individuals, businesses, and governments within a region that produces and sells goods and services. It reflects how a nation creates, distribute, and consume goods and services, as well as its overall financial health and activity.
Black Americans are the economy. We are the ones who built it. We are the ones who started this. We took it up, we built it up, and then now we are in the situation that we're in today, right? Because of what? The economy, the Black American economy that we built right here in America. And when people try to shame Black Americans, when they try to say that Black Americans, what have you guys done? Where's the money? If you guys say you're this or that, that's why it's clear for you guys to understand history. Our history has been hidden for so long, and it's been put underneath a shell for so long that now when you look at it in comparison to everyone else, it is literally integral. It is literally something that you cannot see if you do not pay attention. What you have here now today was built on an invisible generation who took every single sacrifice, who were literally attacked, right? Who were taken away from opportunities, who were put in the worst, and still were able to overcome that, right? So in my opinion, there's no excuse for the Africans to not be able to do the same in their own country.
For a country to have a thriving economy, it must have a government that ensures transparency and protects its citizens. An effective government does not own, produce, or sell goods. Instead, it must create a conducive environment for both businesses and individuals.
Now listen, when Black Americans talk about the infrastructure of white supremacy and how it is so integral in our own history, we have to talk about that, because we were doing this underneath a whole system that was built up against us. We still went out of our way to find ways to make sure that we were going and doing what needed to get done to be able to establish a base, right? A foundation that everyone else can build upon, right? And we did that underneath the worst circumstances that you can imagine as a people, right? And so when I look at it from that perspective, I do not see the same thing with Africans. And y'all need to be doing that, because they need you guys right now, clearly. And then on top of that, the government, right? A corrupt government that was, sabotaging, using every resource possible to be able to hold us back and hold us down. Okay, well, guess what? We fought against that. We spoke out against that. We did civil rights movements and protesting, all types of demonstrations, studies over years and years of time, right? Investigations, suing them, holding them accountable. And that's the part. When are the African people going to hold their African governments responsible and accountable for the fact of the situation that they are in as an entire continent today? When are they going to start doing that? That's the question. When is the African people going to start holding their officials and as well the power structure in Africa accountable for them not being able to make the moves that are necessary for their own growth, right?
This includes providing solid infrastructure and enacting enforceable policies that would enable these entities to flourish without fear. For instance, Nigeria's primary food source is rice, which thrives in its tropical climate. Yet, it can't farm enough to feed its poverty-ridden people.
How crazy is that, right? To have that many resources, to have that much, and still not be able to feed your people off of a resource that is clearly growing out of the ground there. You guys have plenty of it, and you cannot feed your own people, okay? That speaks, like I said, to a mentality that these people need to be holding their government and as well everyone who is there accountable for the situation that they're in, because Black Americans, that's what we have done. At every turn, we have held the white establishment responsible and accountable for the fact that we are being held down and held back. We did not just sit back and let it happen. We were loud, we were proud, and we made it clear that what's going on right now, we do not like it and it needs to change. And my question is, when are Africans going to hold their establishment accountable? When are they going to hold their government accountable for the fact that they are rich in all of these resources and yet they are still at the bottom? Like I said earlier in the video, they said that the African continent is considered one of the poorest in the entire world. When are the African people going to hold their government and their government officials accountable for the corruption and as well the overall status that they are in right now? To be having this many resources and not be able to hold the people accountable for it is absolutely insane.
Instead, it imports rice. Why is that? There is no incentive to become a rice farmer. Nigeria instead incentivizes criminality than it does productivity.
Okay, that's clear, right? We've talked about this many a times, right? The scamming culture that is cultivated over there in Africa. When are the African people going to choose to shift their mentality from scamming, from doing corruption and also criminality to them cultivating, cropping, and farming on the resources that are available to them? When are they going to start holding their officials accountable? That's the real question here.
Establishing a business in Nigeria is notoriously difficult, plagued by hurdles, bureaucratic red tape, rampant corruption, and systemic bribery. The government has neglected infrastructure and security, crafting laws that primarily protect politicians and elites while ignoring the broader interest of the population.
This is what their culture is, okay? They have a specific culture that really needs to change. And they are choosing not to hold their officials accountable. They're choosing not to hold like he said, the oligarchs and also the rich class are literally stealing, scamming, and selling them out. And the African people are not holding them accountable for that. That is one thing that no one can say about Black Americans. Black Americans, we hold people accountable. If you're doing us wrong, if something wrong happens, we're going to speak on it and we're going to hit the streets. We're going to do whatever is possible to make it clear that we do not like what's going on in our situation. Africans are in a dire situation right now. Not only there, but also after everything that's been happening with Donald Trump and ICE and just what we're seeing now, it is a dire situation for them. And they need to go out of their way to hold these people accountable, because otherwise they're going to be cooked. And not only in just one way, but imagine being deported, right, from America, having to be sent back to Africa, and they have done nothing. No infrastructure has been set up. No one's being held accountable. And all these people are literally getting scammed every single day.
In Nigeria, almost every transaction involves kickbacks and under-the-table deals, creating a perilous economic environment.
All right. Like we always mention, the scamming is integral. It is a part of their culture. Okay. Like he's saying, even when it comes down to the police department, all right, everybody's getting kickbacks. Everybody's got to get something in their hand. And it shouldn't be that way. There should be a moral compass, right, for Africans to live off of. And that's why Black Americans, everyone talks about us and how we move, but we move with a certain level of morality and a certain level of actual rules, actual principles. But he's speaking 100% to the fact that Africans are not moving in that same way, and that will always hold them back.
This situation directly contributes to the country's poverty. The Nigerian government should prioritize infrastructure, security, education, and transparency in its policies. With over 150 million mobile phone users in Nigeria, every charging cable they need to charge those phones is imported from countries like China, India, Vietnam, and others. Why can't Nigeria produce these cables locally? The government should create incentives to encourage local production of essential goods while facilitating trade within the country and its neighbors.
So to speak on that, right? America and Black Americans built the foundation of what we see today when it comes to business, commerce, and as well giving the white establishment a head start, right? Because we were the ones who were building, we were the ones who were creating, we were making things, we were inventing things. Just for them to be stolen from us, rebranded, repackaged, and then sold back, right? So when I hear Africans always talking about Black Americans haven't done this or Black Americans need to do that, well, I always go back to history. And history tells me that Black Americans have been doing this since we got here on those boats, since we were put into captivity on our own lands, right? So since the beginning of time, we've given so many people a leg up and also a foundation to work from, to where now the infrastructure has grown to the point where we became the richest country in the entire world. We became the superpower. We became the standard, right? For building yourself up, but getting no credit for all the work that we put in. And sadly enough, a lot of Black Americans are tired of not getting credit for that.
Another significant product in Nigeria is flour. Why can't Nigeria produce enough flour? When a country lacks the basic ability to produce essential goods like rice, flours, cables, and toothpicks, such a country is bound to be sentenced to a life of poverty.
Listen, man, and this is where we talk about it, all right? People always talk about how Black Americans live, how we're so ghetto and that we don't have money and why is everybody on welfare and you guys are lazy and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, you guys in Africa have all these resources available to you. You guys have all these things that you guys can be making, creating, and inventing. And you're choosing to come over here and sit at our table. And then as well, when you sit at our table, you guys look at us as though we owe you something. And unfortunately, a lot of Black Americans are tired of that attitude. They're tired of the arrogance. They're tired of being talked down to. And so the delineation is a complete byproduct of those years and years of support that we've given not only to Africans, but to Caribbeans, to Latinos, to Hispanics, everyone who's been imported here, okay? We've given so much support with nobody else giving it back in return, to the point where now we said, all right, enough's enough. We're going to delineate and we're going to focus on ourselves. And listen, this is where we're at now.
Importing them weakens the currency because it creates a reliance on foreign currency to purchase essential goods. The government should promote local production and encourage international trade to bolster the local economy. That is not rocket science.
It literally takes nothing for you guys to go back to Africa and build up Africa. You guys have, like he says, you guys have all the essentials to do so. You have all the resources. You guys have the people. So go over there, talk to your government officials, talk to the people in charge, and put them on, notice that you guys are ready to build your own country, that you guys are ready to build up what has been taken away from you guys. You guys have every opportunity over there to do something about it. So go do it, right? That's what you guys need to be doing, instead of being over here talking down on Black Americans about how our lowest are living, okay? Because the lowest of ours isn't even comparison to the way you guys are living over there. And that's clear based on this specific video. He already told you guys how bad the conditions are over there in Africa. The lowest poverty country in the entire world, okay? The lowest, all right? So to try to compare your lowest to our lowest is not even a comparison, right? And so that's the part where I have to go ahead and put the foot on the gas, because like I said, you guys have every opportunity, just like Black Americans did, to hold your government officials accountable, to hold the people who are holding you back accountable, and as well raising hell because you guys want to build. That's why I always say Black Americans are builders. We don't come over here and try to take, all right? We took what we had and built on that. We had the skills, we had the infrastructure, and we had the overall heart to go out there and get it done underneath the worst circumstances that any other people on this planet have ever experienced. Crazy, man, just insane.
For context, Taiwan, with a population of 23 million people, had a total trade of $869 billion in 2024, while Nigeria's trade volume for the same year was just $89 billion.
Look at the difference in that, guys. Y'all help me understand something wrong with that, right? Look at the comparison. Taiwan has 23 million people and the total trade was 869 billion, okay? Nigeria has 230 million people and they only had a total trade of $89 billion. That is a problem. And you guys over there and here who sit up here and talk down on Black Americans, every opportunity you get, you need to be focused on what's going on over there and build it. Just like Black Americans did. And like I said, underneath the worst circumstances of any people in the entire existence of this world, okay? We did it underneath the worst circumstances that anybody can experience. Black Americans were put into slavery. They were also sharecroppers. And then after that, Jim Crow, all right? And we were still building businesses. We were still making inventions that changed the world. We were still doing the most, taking our intelligence and consciousness up to another level, finding pride within ourselves, building our communities, even under the circumstances where they were bombing our communities and taking our communities down, attacking us in the street. Okay? And so when I hear people, especially people who are not from here, talk down on Black Americans and ask us what we've done, like I said, your eyes don't work. The work that Black Americans have done is invisible to the naked eye. But if you actually do your research and look at the history, Black Americans have built the foundation for the United States to become the superpower that it is today. There would be no operating systems if it was not for our ancestors who were here building it underneath the worst circumstances, creating some of the greatest inventions to ever be existed, changing the world. Okay? So when I see this, it really infuriates me because, like I said, I have to bring up the mirror, right? That's all Black Americans are doing. There is no hate from us. There is just a mirror that we're holding up to people to let you guys know, hey man, if y'all want to disrespect, okay, cool. Well, guess what? Let me show you the stats of where you come from. And if you got a problem with what we're doing here, if you got a problem with us speaking up about how you guys treat us and how it's been going down for a very long time, then guess what, Brody? We're going to be able to hold your ass accountable. And we're not going to sit back and let y'all talk to us any kind of way, because that's not the Black American way. We don't sit back and let things happen. We going to let you know straight up to your face what it is. That's our culture. We don't just take it. We don't allow anybody to disrespect us. All right. We took enough disrespect for so long. Now we have to make sure that we are holding up the mirror so that you guys can understand the circumstances and what's going on your side of the pond, and making sure that we don't get anything confused about what Black Americans have built here in this country.
Despite having over 10 times more people. Interestingly, Taiwan's trade volume surpassed that of West Africa's entire population of 466 million people.
The entire population of multiple countries on the continent of Africa was outworked by Taiwan. Y'all, Let's hear it, y'all. Can I hear it? Oh, Africans, y'all work so hard, but you guys are getting outworked by a country that only has 23 million people. Help me understand, because guess what? Black Americans, 50 million here, have outworked everybody. And they try to call us lazy. They try to say that we ain't doing what we supposed to do. They try to discredit what we've created. And we ain't gonna allow that. Not up in here. No, we are not.
People, if you still believe that we are impoverished due to some covert Western agenda, you may not be grasping the actual issues at hand.
There you go. Everybody talks about the West, right? And what they've done to the continent of Africa, but nobody wants to take accountability for what the Africans need to take accountability for. Because like I always say, Black American, we are builders. We built this. So if there's some things that are going on in our community, we always take accountability for it. We don't sit around and try to make excuses. Hey, man, yes, things might be messed up for us. Yes, we have a lot of things to work on. But guess what? We get to work, though. And that's what's happening right now. Everything that's happened over this year, this entire year, Black Americans have really started to see everybody for their true colors. Everyone has been exposing themselves, right? When we delineated and chose to go and focus on ourselves, it started to expose everyone else. And so now that we're seeing this cycle, right? Now that it's happening, let's look at y'all now. Let me help you understand, right? Are you guys going to take accountability for the atrocities going on over there in Africa? Are you guys going to take accountability for the scam culture that goes on in Africa? Are you guys going to take accountability for the corruption of the governments over there? Or are you guys just going to keep letting the status quo and as well the excuses, right? Like they always like to say about Black Americans, y'all making excuses. You're always blaming the white man. Okay, well, your own brother who is an African is saying that this is not that. That y'all need to take accountability as well for the situation and the circumstances that are going on right now over there in Africa. Y'all need to take accountability. Straight up.
The reality is that we are not manufacturing or producing many of the basic goods we require. To develop our local economies, we must focus on internal trade and foster exchanges with neighboring countries. These will strengthen local currency.
And look, even when they're trying to do these deals, it's very obvious, right? It's very obvious that when that happens, a lot of that government are doing a lot of shady things and not allowing the trickle down, right? For it to be able to be spread into the economy of where they're at. And so now we're starting to see what's going on from this perspective, right? And that's why I said, Black Americans, we ain't mad at nobody. We just holding up the mirror so that y'all can understand and see yourselves. Straight up. What's good, Randall? How you doing, man? Appreciate you pulling up, bro. Hope you having a great, happy holidays to everyone out there. Salute to y'all. Christmas week. All right. So back to this video. Let's go.
Create jobs and enhance government revenues. There is no magic solution to these challenges. The total intertrade among 16 West African countries, which have a population of 466 million people, was just $52 billion in 2024.
Look at that. 466 million people, right? Only created and grows 52.8 billion in 2024, right? This is what's going on right now, guys. And like I said, it is important for us to hold up the mirror and show the stats. Because right here on Elite Media, what's my saying? We bring the receipts. And we're not going to allow you guys to sit up here talking about Black Americans, talking about us, calling us lazy, saying that we ain't built nothing. Where's the money? Listen, man, when I bring it up, this is for y'all to see, man. This is for y'all to see, y'all. Straight up. We're going to bring up the receipts. And this is from your own people. This is an African who made this video. All right. This is his own research. Okay. And I thought it was important for you guys to see. Straight up. All right, man. So salute. Let's see, we got David in the house, Mr. Bay. Love from Jamaica, Chi-Town, USA. Hey, salute to you, brother. You know what it is, man. We are the chosen people, and we are the children of Judah. Salute to y'all. Hey, my dad is from Aurora, Illinois. All right. He grew up in Aurora, Illinois. My family is from South Carolina on his side. Okay. We represent that Illinois. Let's go. Chicago, stand up all day, every day. All right. So we got G Mong, whatever his name is. He said, dude, shut the F up. Ignorant. All right, bro. Too bad. So sad. Too bad. So sad for you, my brother. But it's okay because you will be banned. You will be banned. See you later. Hey, salute, man. Hey, David, thank you. Funny, my father is from South Carolina, Mullins to be exact. Hey, salute to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of direct connections from the South Carolina to Chicago, Illinois connection. A lot of people migrated from there. A lot of the Geechee. All right. We are a part of that tribe, straight up. So salute to you, family, and welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay tapped in with your boy. So let's continue to cook these guys, because as y'all see in the comments, they getting real salty because we bringing up the mirror. This is just a mirror, guys. I'm not saying nothing crazy. All I'm going off of is a reaction to a video that was made by an African. Okay, this is an African who made this video. Africans have built nothing by an African.
In contrast, Switzerland, with a population of just 8 million, traded $127 billion with Germany in the same year.
Look at that. Look at that comparison. In the same year, okay, with 8 million people in Switzerland, you can look at this. 466 million people across all these countries: Mali, Nigeria, okay, Congo, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone. Come on, man. Senegal. All these countries had no comparison to what Switzerland did literally in 2024 with 8 million people. So let me understand, since y'all always got something to say about Black Americans being lazy and us not really doing the work. What is this? How are you guys not holding your people accountable over there in Africa? Your government, who has literally created a culture, like he said, of scamming and criminality. Why are you guys not holding them accountable? You guys are in last place. All right? To talk about Black Americans and to see the total disdain that they have for us as we delineate and hold up the mirror to say, hey, you know what? Y'all been treating us like crap for a minute. So guess what? We got to go ahead and back up. Y'all can get it. Y'all know so much. Y'all so smart. Y'all work so hard. Okay, bet. Let's see what happens when that white establishment puts their foot on the gas on y'all. What are y'all gonna do? Because Black Americans, if it's us, if it's any situation that we go through, we make it clear that we ain't gonna allow that to happen, and we get out and we start riding on motherfuckers. And that's just facts. We don't hold back nothing. So when I see the lies, right? The lies and the overall dramatic BS that they talk about Black Americans, like I said, I have to hold up the mirror. I have to make sure that you guys listen to the facts. All right? Because I could come on here and talk crazy as much as I would like to, right? I could come up here and make up all types of lies like y'all saying, talking about Black Americans hate this and Black Americans are xenophobic that. But guess what? The facts are the facts. And Black Americans have been nothing but supportive, nothing but helpful. We rolled out the red carpet for all these people to come here. All we asked for in return was respect and alignment. Aligning with what we thought and the ideology that we have based on what? The history and understanding of these people and this system that we built. Why would you not listen to somebody who has the extensive history to tell you guys, hey man, Probably shouldn't do that. Hey, man, you probably shouldn't listen to us. Hey, man, you guys should probably align with us because we know what they're going to do if you align with them. And you guys chose not to listen. So guess what? You're going to have to hold your own nuts now. You're going to have to get it out the mud like Black Americans did with no allies. Okay? Because at the end of the day, like I said, it was a wake-up call for us. All right? Because there's so many Black Americans, even still, right now, who are still trying to build the bridge, who are still trying their best to create inner, connections. They're trying their best to still keep the peace. But there is no peace when they are not offering that same energy in return. Reciprocation does not work that way, nor do any relationships. And I always make this comparison because it's so true. If you're in any relationship, man, woman, woman, man, 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 girl, girl, I don't care. Any relationship, if you're the only person who is giving and not getting anything in return, that is a terrible relationship and you should leave. You should cut that ass off because guess what? You're not getting anything in return. Word. So if that's the relationship that Black Americans have experienced for so long, you goddamn right, it's time for us to cut it off. It's time for us to shut that shit down. Enough. We've had enough of it being a one-way street. We've had enough of Black Americans giving everything we got to get nothing in return, to be looked down on, for our people to be told this and that. No, you cannot dictate our lineage anymore. You can't dictate who we are anymore because we've known that since the jump. And we tried our best, like I said, to align with people, but they just didn't want to align with us. So go your own way, homie. Hey, salute to Iconic FBA. Salute to you, brother. Thank you for pulling up, and I appreciate you in the chat. FBA all day. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to stay tapped in with your boy because we cooking right now. We are cooking right now. And like I said, this video is not me creating this title. The title is of another video that I'm reacting to that was made by an African himself. Okay? So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let's continue to cook.
With Germany in the same year. Singapore, with just 5 million people engaged in intertrade worth $54 billion with Malaysia, while Hong Kong, with 7 million people, had an intertrade with South Korea totaling $45 billion.
Listen, this is what we talking about, man. Small but mighty. Small but mighty. That is how we move as Black Americans. And not only that, you can see Hong Kong, Singapore, countries with much less are still being able to outwork and outpace the African continent. How is this possible? With all the resources over there, with everything that you guys have, how is this possible that they are outpacing you guys, but y'all want to come over here and talk down on Black Americans and say that we lazy, say that we ain't doing what we supposed to, trying to talk down on us and our establishments? How is that possible when the facts speak otherwise? And that's why I always like to make it clear here on Elite Media, we bring the receipts. So with the receipts showing this, there is no way that any of y'all FBAs who in here right now take this information and hold it up to their ass. How are you guys, a country of over billions of people, being outpaced by a small Hong Kong, small Singapore, small Switzerland? All right. American people have built this. All right. The trade that was created was based on the backs of Black American establishment. Okay. Black American inventions, Black American labor. Okay. Our contributions to this country made it the superpower that it is today. And I will not back off of that. I will continue to remind y'all at every opportunity that I get to know, hey, man, nah, Black Americans, we built this. Everybody else ate off of that table. We set the table. We got the food. You know what I'm saying? We built the table, all that. Set it, forget it, and try to invite y'all to to be able to eat with us, to be able to fellowship with us, because we are a kind-hearted people. We come from principles. All right. We want the best, not only for our people, but as well for this country. And to y'all going out here scamming our country, talking down on our country, telling us that we need to work so that y'all could get the benefits. The nerve of a person that arrogant, the nerve of a person to be that disrespectful to the people who literally died for this. Ain't no way that Black Americans are going to create or continue to allow you guys to disrespect us. And that's why they're going out of their way to say, oh, why are Black Americans being so hateful and da 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 da. No, we out here making sure that you guys are reminded who we are. And we're going out of our way to make sure that we remind you guys to never forget who helped you get here. Why you even came here was because of what we did as a people. All right. Collectively, we work together to make sure that everybody else could be able to benefit from this. Asians, Latinos, Hispanics, Afro-Latinos, the Caribbeans, Africans, all right? Even Europeans, okay? When the Europeans came over here, all right, after we had already been built in all this stuff and they come over here, they get Irish Town, they get Little Italy, they get all this stuff. What did Black Americans get? Nothing but terror and actually people attacking our towns, burning them down, bombing it, and then building right over it like nothing ever happened. And then after that, erase the history so that nobody else can reference this back again to say, hey, man, what happened? Y'all go over there to Central Park in New York. You're walking on the souls and blood of actual Black Americans who own that land. Central Park in New York was built on the backs of Black Americans, okay? Lake Lanier, all right? That place is haunted by the spirits of our ancestors because of what they did to us. So y'all need to actually get a reality check. And that's why it was important for me to bring up this video. All right, because the Most High, he just be giving me stuff. He'll be like, hey, look at this video. And I'll be like, what? I'll take it, look at the information. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta spread this out to my FBA brothers and sisters, because ain't no way that y'all gonna come over here and talk about how Black Americans built. And it's a video that just came out. This video was only a month old. Okay, nah, ain't no way. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it right to y'all face, a mirror.
No one would want to visit a country where over 85 million cases of bribery occur in the public sector each year.
85 million, all right? 85 million cases of corruption, all right? Look at that. Almost 721 billion euro bribes and scandals. Their history of scamming, history of criminality. Like he said, why would anyone want to come to that? And the fact, like I said, y'all come over here and act like y'all coming from kings and queens and y'all this, rich history, when a lot of the language and your actual speaking was made by white people. Y'all didn't know that? Y'all didn't know that the Igbo language was created by a white man? Y'all didn't know that? Come on, man. Stop it. Stop the cap.
The infrastructure in Nigeria and many other African countries are lacking. There are insufficient roads, trains, air traffic system, and reliable means for transporting goods.
They talk about our neighborhoods. They talk about Black Americans, how we live, where we come from. This is where they come from. The nerve of a people to come to a place that has been literally brushed, cleaned, and made very, very nice for them to be able to feel safe and comfortable. And then for them to separate themselves, okay? They have been separating themselves since they got here. Black Americans just started delineating this year and everybody losing their mind. They can't handle it. What? Black Americans? What? Well, no, we're all black. No, we're not. Y'all said y'all was African. So be that. We are Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. All right. Y'all already made it clear who you guys were, what distinction you wanted to have. I'm Somali, okay? Me no black, me Dominican, me no black. All right, cool, for sure. We got you. Now, go out there and make sure that ICE can get you in check. Make sure y'all go handle that, right? Stand up to the colonizer now. Nah, it ain't the same energy because y'all don't keep the same energy for them like Black Americans do. All right. I just watched a video of a Black American get spit in the face by a white man on his job being an Amazon driver. And what he do, he beat the shit out of him. You goddamn right. Motherfucker spit on me, guaranteed something to happen to him. End up in the dirt, for real. That's how we roll. We don't play that. We don't play that, oh, let's just be safe and let's make sure. No. You disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you. The energy has shifted. Black Americans done rolled out the red carpet for so many people trying to help and trying to find some level of semblance and connection. Just for us to be disrespected at every turn. All right, cool. The energy now has shifted. I don't treat people how I want to be treated no more. I treat people how they treat me. When I go up in these stores, these Arab stores, all this stuff, they acting weird. I'm taking my money and I dip. It ain't that serious for me. I'll keep my money. All right. I'll go out of the way and drive further to find me a Black American store and to patronize them, as opposed to me trying to, make myself, it's okay, it's convenient. Nah, F that. The convenience is out the door now. Sorry.
Institutions lack solidity and transparency, resulting in significantly low productivity. Some might argue that they are road and trains flight. However, try driving from Benin City to Akure in Nigeria, a distance of just 112 kilometers, and you will see how many hours it takes you. You will also face around 50 police checkpoints, each one attempting to extort bribes.
50 checkpoints as you're driving 3 hours up the road, and every single one is going to ask for bribes. You cannot tell me that that is not a systemic culture of scamming and criminality. These are supposed to be the people who are police officers and law enforcement, okay? My family, I come from a rich history of military men and law enforcement, all right? My family is a part of that community. Not ever once have I ever heard anyone in my family talking about taking bribes, talking about being dirty. All I remember is honorable discharges, honorable retirements, honorable, you know what I'm saying? Anytime they left something, it was in an honorable way. Okay? Recommendations, see keys to the city. All right? That's the legacy that I come from. So when I see this type of stuff, the criminality from not only the people, but as well the law enforcement structure, that's a problem. And like I said, when are Africans gonna go and stand up against it? Because guess what? Black Americans have stood up as many years as we can against the corrupt system, police brutality, the government, every single faction that has been a integral part in the dismantling of our communities. We have always made a big stink about it. We go out here, we are loud about this is right, this is wrong, and we will not take it. That's where that energy comes from, right? To protest, to go out here and hit the streets, to go into not only different factions of our government to change things. That's the Black American way. We don't just allow criminality because, like I said, we move with the level of righteousness and a conscious movement inside of ourselves because we are a part of the Most High, okay? So when we're moving in that way, when our mentality is caught up in that, there is no freaking way that you guys would ever try to compare us to y'all. You are not like us, and that is as real as it gets. Come on, imagine trying to drive up the street and every single cop that pull you over, you got to bribe them. And you already don't got money to start with. Come on, man.
Turning the journey into a nightmare. Additionally, you may encounter potential kidnappers, robbers, and other hazards like potholes, and damaged roads. This situation is not unique to Nigeria. Countries like Ghana, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Angola, Kenya, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Cameroon, Botswana, and many others.
Look at this list. Look at this list, y'all. And they try to talk about us and our infrastructure, how we live, and the things going on in our community. They talk about the gangs, and they talk about hip hop and music. They talk about all that. But look at this, multiple countries, okay, on the continent of Africa, all right? A culture of scamming, a culture of criminality. Y'all coming from that and y'all bringing that over here. And that's why when we saw those billions of dollars getting taken by the Somali community in Minnesota, those billions of dollars being taken by Haitians in these communities, SNAP benefits being taken. Yes, we're going to speak on that because it's a problem, and it takes away from who? Tax-paying foundational Black Americans like me and a lot of people who patronize this channel. We are law-abiding citizens. We don't have any connection to anything criminal, no scamming. I work a job. I go and I do my job in a very righteous way. I pay my taxes. So when I see people talking about what Black Americans have to do, and Black Americans are the ones who are, living off the lam and on food stamps and all this stuff. How, bro? When I have friends who work 2 and 3 jobs just to make sure that their kids have food. I got homies, I got homegirls who are working endlessly, okay? Who have not had a day off in 2 years. Y'all want to talk about Black Americans and our work ethic? There's no comparison. All right, sure, yes, there will be criminal elements in any community. But the Black Americans, the law-abiding citizens who pay taxes here and who contribute in every single way in their community, y'all see on my channel, just this Saturday, we did a food bank for people who needed food and toys for the holidays coming up this week. What are you doing? What are you guys doing to help your community? Where are your backing up in videos to say, hey, man, I'm trying to make my community a better place rather than hopping on the internet and just complaining and talking about it? Okay? That ain't how I move. All right? I ain't one of these other content creators who just hop on the internet and just complain about everything and don't do nothing for real in the real world. I'm a real person. Okay? Everything that I post is actual facts. I'm out here doing the work. I'm boots on the ground for real. The grassroots, that's me. I'm part of that. So when I see people who are coming over here benefiting from what we doing and not contributing nothing, I got a problem with that, because it's your social responsibility to help your community. It is your social responsibility to not just be on the internet talking. If you have the resources, if you are close to people who have the resources, it is your responsibility to do something about it. So Africans, I ask you again, what are you guys going to do about what's going on in your communities? What are you guys going to do to stop this right now? Because like I said, a culture of criminality and scamming, and you guys are just not doing nothing. That sounds to me like you guys are cool with it. That sounds like to me like you guys are doing that for the whole community, right? If you guys were out here speaking out against it, I can understand, but I don't see that. How many videos do y'all see of Somalians saying this is terrible and we don't want this to be going on in our community? You don't. All I saw was Somalians coming out here being super abrasive, talking about y'all need to get to work so that I can have my food stamps and my benefits. That's all I've been seeing, and that's facts.
Similarly affected. Our economies are weak, unproductive, disconnected, and isolated. Our currencies reflect this weakness, as they are not tied to strong local production-based economies that are interdependent on each other and their regional counterparts.
This is crazy.
Another example of the challenges faced by Black majority countries can be seen in nations outside Africa that are black majority, such as Haiti, Jamaica, Grenada, and Dominica. They all struggle with weak economies.
This is why I brought this video to y'all, my African, my FBA brothers and sisters. Okay? Because it was important to bring the mirror up, to bring the stats here, because there's so many people, I see this all the time. They go over there to Brother Tariq and they harass him and they talk about all this other stuff. But in reality, the facts speak to exactly what we all have been saying. It's not just us coming out of our butt talking crazy. The actual factuals are saying that y'all need to clean up your communities.
In contrast, predominantly white countries are those that were invaded and now occupied by white people outside of the traditional Europe, such as New Zealand, Australia, the USA, Canada, Brazil, and parts of Africa like South Africa and Namibia have developed economies by building infrastructure that facilitates trade and movement.
And guess what? Those countries that he just mentioned all were part of the African slave trade, y'all. And guess what? Who was the most powerful of all those he just mentioned? Us Black Americans. We built the foundation and infrastructure to create the most powerful nation in the entire world. That was on the backs of Black Americans. Our blood, sweat, and tears were the ones who built this. And it is always documented. And that's why I have to make sure on Elite Media, we always bring the receipts. There will never be a time where I come on here and I'm not bringing some actual facts to back up my stance and my argument. Right? And that's why when it comes to this debates, all this stuff, y'all can't fuck with me. I got too much information. I done too much research. I done studied my history extensively to make sure that everything I speak on is a real fact. It's actually backed up with data and statistics, okay? Because Black Americans, like I said, we built the superpower that everyone talks about today. United States of America was built on the back of Black Americans who did as much work, if not more, than any other working class in the existence of this world. Okay? And we did it underneath the worst circumstances that anyone could imagine. Okay? Underneath the worst. All right? Being patronized, being attacked, and targeted. So when you guys are talking about ISIS in the street and ISIS doing this, guess what? Black Americans done been through that. We done already experienced it, homie, in a much grander scale. And mind you, in a sense that we weren't even able to survive. They didn't deport us. They killed us. Destroyed our communities. Made it harder on us to be able to live somewhere where it was civilized. And when we built a civilized community, they'll tear it down. So it pisses me off to hear this crap every single day when I get here on this internet where people talking down on Black Americans when they don't even understand the history. Go pick up a history book before you come over here on this internet talking crazy about Black Americans when we've done all the work. Okay? And mind you, now that we asking for something in return, y'all want to take that away from us? And that's why I made it clear that I had to do that video about the 40 acres and a lie. Because guess what? We were supposed to get our 40 acres and a mule, and they took that from us too. All right? It's proven. That's a fact that they did that to us. So reparations for Black Americans, we need that. Because guess what? We was entitled to it. That was ours. That was our money. That was our land. And all these people literally got it taken up one swoop. All right? Bad business.
They have established an environment where people, organizations, and businesses can thrive by implementing sound policies that secure their borders. In 2025, many African countries still have less than 35% power coverage. In Nigeria,
less than 35% of power. Okay? What? And y'all want to talk about how Black Americans live. Y'all love to talk about how Black Americans live. Y'all love to talk about the ghettos and all this other crap. But y'all don't even have electricity over there. And guess what? Here's another fact for you guys. Guess who created the power grids right here in America? You're damn right. The railroad systems, the roads that are paved, we were the ones. Black Americans built that. The nerve, man, the nerve.
Only 65% of the population have access to electricity. And those who do often have service only a few hours per day. Furthermore, 95% of Nigerians lack access to public running water. They must dig boreholes and treat the water themselves. If they treat it at all, who knows? This could be a contributing factor to Nigeria having one of the lowest life expectancies in the world.
The lowest life expectancy in the world is in Nigeria. The lowest. All right? The fact of the matter, it blows my mind, okay? Look at this. Somali's on that list. Mali's on that list. Chad's on that list. The Sudan is on that list. All right? Burkina Faso. All right? Y'all love to talk about Burkina Faso. Literally has one of the lowest. So, like I said, y'all continue to talk crazy about Black Americans. All I gotta do is hold up the mirror. That's it. Ain't no Black Americans hating. Ain't no Black Americans xenophobic. All we gonna do is hold up the mirror because y'all been talking reckless for so long. And we tried to be cool. Black Americans, we try to be cool. We gonna let you talk. All right, bro. You better chill. Chilling is over. No more chilling. No more chill. No more it's all good. No more we just trying to, make it amends. No. The mirror will be held up to y'all face every single time y'all disrespect Black Americans. Every single time. I'm done. I don't have time to be going back and forth with y'all about stuff when the life expectancy rates is this low. Y'all don't have running water, 35% electricity across the board.
In South Africa and Namibia, the white population on average are the wealthiest people in Africa. They built infrastructure and policies that contributed to their economic development until the blacks reclaimed control. While this might be a brutal truth to accept, it is essential to acknowledge that South Africa, under white leadership, despite its racial dynamics, was developed and more advanced than many countries deemed developed.
Y'all love to talk about Black Americans. Y'all love to talk about how, the white infrastructure and all this stuff. Meanwhile, your white counterparts are the only reason why you guys even have anything over there. All right? Black Americans, we have a rich history here in America. Our history is integral in the infrastructure of this entire land, every single corner. Okay? So when y'all want to talk about Black Americans, you need to go over there and actually hold, like I said, y'all need to be holding them people accountable because y'all not. And guess what? They ran off with it. And next to China gonna come over to Africa and take over Africa too. That's the next frontier for China. And y'all need to go over there and make sure that don't happen. All right. Because then you're going to be down bad, real bad, all right?
When a project is proposed to an African with a 10-year plan, it seems like a lifetime to them. We are more interested in what we can benefit from today and now, not in 10 years. An African takes charge of a project, organization, ministerial position, or even the presidency, they immediately switch on their tribal and myopic mindset.
Okay? What can you do for me right now? No longevity, no thinking, no forward thinking, no planning, no trying to make it longevity in this. They're just thinking about right now, what they can get right now. What type of mentality is that? Like I said, Black Americans, we're builders, right? Everything that we do is with a conscious mind to think about the future and the next generations, how our future children, how our ancestors and their ancestors beyond that will be able to benefit from what we're doing right now. Black Americans have that foresight and thought process to think about not only themselves, but others. And mind you, we did it so much that it almost held us back. It almost put us at a disadvantage because for so long, we've been building for everybody else. And so when people talk about Black Americans and they tell us, hey, y'all don't have nothing, this or that. Yeah, that's because we've been building it for everybody else. We thought that people was going to align with us and our ideology. We thought that people would see the value and what Black Americans bring to the table. People really was trying their best to find some connection to the motherland. We wanted that so badly. But then to find out that it was not in return, there was no reciprocation. Hey, we got to evaluate ourselves. We got to evaluate what's going on. We got to evaluate our history. And a lot of us started to realize, man, look, if I look at my family tree, I don't see no connections to Africa. I see a lot of connections to Native Americans. I see a lot of connection to the indigenous people of America. I don't see no connection to Africa if I look at my family tree. Okay? And so that's my whole ideology had to shift from the Pan-Africanist mindset that a lot of us were underneath because we wanted so badly to help others because that's naturally in the heart of Black Americans, right? We're builders. We want to help. We want to contribute. We want to do things in the righteous way. But it's not in return. A lot of people don't think that way. And that's what he's speaking on right here, that tribalistic mindset, that what can you do for me right now mindset, not thinking for the future mindset is a part of the culture of Africa, okay?
Siphoning everything they can towards their fleeting interest. We are not ready for this. We simply can't build prosperous economies, which is why we remain poor. How else can Gabon, Cameroon, and both Congos be poor with some of the most endowed land and climate known to humanity if the people do not lack the skills to build prosperous economies?
If the people do not lack the skills, okay? Make that clear. The people do not lack. They have the skills to be able to cultivate these lands, to be able to use the resources to become a superpower. But they choose not to. They choose to continue in the mindset that they have to scam and think of just right now, instead of thinking about the future of their own continent. They would rather come over here and talk crazy to us. They would rather come over here and look down on us. They would rather try to fake and funk and create this illusion that they come from this history, when in reality, the stats and statistics tell us otherwise. And that's why it is important for me on my channel to continue to bring facts, to back it up with statistics, so that my people who patronize my channel will be able to see shit for what it is, right? And make sure you guys like and subscribe, man, because I'm cooking right now. These are all facts. Nothing that I'm saying right now is anything that you cannot look up for yourself, all right? I made sure that this video was put out here because I did not create this title. An African created this title because of what he sees himself, did his own research to bring it to YouTube so that you guys can see. I saw this video and I said, I need to bring it to my people and my subscribers so that they can see what's really going on and they can have the stats and statistics to back up. If any of these motherfuckers got anything to say, we got the statistical data to back up our thoughts and our arguments about what is wrong with the state of African people. And not only that, the state of everyone else who has benefited from what Black Americans have built here in this country. All right, enough. We will continue to hold up the mirror if y'all want to keep this going, because delineation is not going anywhere. It's gonna be here. Y'all better get used to it. But not only that, you better start adjusting your attitude. You better start adjusting your mindset. You better start thinking about, hey, if we got to go back to Africa, how are we going to build it? What are we going to do for the future? Who's going to be the people who are willing, right? Who are willing to put everything on the line for our growth? Because guess what? Our ancestors did that for us. Our ancestors did that for us. They were willing to work and to go to the depths of hell to make sure that we can just have a piece of heaven right here in America. They went through the depths of hell for us. They took on the biggest, most powerful nation just to make sure that us today could benefit from it. And not only that, all of y'all benefit from this. So the disrespect that I've seen over this last year when Black Americans chose to delineate and focus on ourselves and put that love and respect back into our communities, it has shifted the entire world. It has shifted the entire mentality of what people support, how people support, and the things that we want to talk about. Because there was a time when people were so hyper fixated on conversations that didn't go anywhere, on conversations that didn't make any sense to anybody. These conversations that we're having right here on this channel, and not only that, on many of Black American channels, Afro Elite, Ant CEO, okay, Tariq Nasheed, all right, FBA Elite, all these people who have been out here pressing the line, making it clear, this is the conversation, this is the direction we need to be going in. They are doing the work. So when I speak on this type of stuff, that's what I'm talking about. What are these people going to do? What sacrifices are they willing to make for the betterment and the future of Africa as a continent?
How else can Angola, Kenya, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire be poor? Or more accurately, why then are all sub-Saharan African countries poor, except the non-Black ones like Seychelles and Mauritius, which are majority non-Black of mainland African countries? Before I conclude, actually, there is one area where Africans excel beyond any other group. You can't even imagine what this area is after listening from the beginning. Yes, there is one area where we excel far better than anyone else. Dancing and partying. Yes, you heard me. Dancing and partying. Nobody does it better than us.
Listen, man, the silliness, what a dumb way to end the video, right? And that's why I had to bring that up, right? Because this is a part of that, right? They always say Sambos, right? All Black people know how to do is play sports and dance and sing. When in reality, the music industry is less than 10% of Black creators, specifically Black American artists who dominate. Less than 10%, y'all. So help me understand what that means then. That means that every single person, right? Like they say, one N-word at a time, ONAT, right? Just imagine the talent pools that a plethora of Black communities possess. All these people who never made it. And they talking about dancing and partying is the best thing that Africans do. Ain't that a shame, y'all? Don't that it just don't make no sense, don't it? And that's why, you know, this video was very important for me to bring to the forefront and to make sure that the people who are my supporters over here understand what's going on. This video right here speaks directly to everything that Black Americans have been saying for a long time, this whole year, right? Like I said, the delineation has been so powerful that it has literally impacted every single faction of American life. And guess what? That's what Black Americans do, baby. We the trendsetters. We started and everybody else follows suit. We don't gotta wait on nobody. If something gonna happen, we gonna make it happen. If we need to do something, we gonna do it. And we ain't gonna sit back and just, speculate and wait. No, planning, that's a part of what we do. We saw that, hey man, we not getting what we putting in. We got to start recalibrating. We got to close ranks. We got to start gatekeeping. We got to start working with each other. We can't allow ourselves to just be out here getting taken for a ride. All right. And that had to change. Our mentality had to change. We had to grow in our mentality. We had to figure out, hey man, this ain't working. We got to change this. And so that's why we are at the point that we at today. All right. 2026 is around the corner. And guess what? This ain't going to stop. Black delineation is only getting stronger by the day. More people, whether you're against it or for it, all that does is raise the consciousness of this movement. So y'all could sit back and do whatever you want to say whatever you got to say. You got, like I said, you got people in the comments talking about I'm ignorant and all this stuff, when literally I brought up a video from an African himself speaking about the dire situation in the continent of Africa. Y'all need to worry about what y'all got going on over there and get up out of Black American business. All right. We have a very, very specific thing that we are looking for: reparations and cash payments and land grants. That is what we are looking for. We are also looking at a Black hate crime bill. All right. We need all that. Everything that we want, we're actually going to be out here getting it. We ain't worried about nobody else, and we're going to make sure of that. All right. So y'all don't sit back and allow these people to talk crazy to you when you got videos like this out here on this internet talking about the dire situation over there in the Africas. You feel me? Salute to this brother, Bantu City Diaries, for putting together a great video that had more than enough information for me to bring to y'all, so then y'all can have your own mentality and thought process about what we see every single day and the BS that we hear every single day from these people, right? So don't allow anybody to try to gaslight you or make you feel any type of way, when in reality, when we say y'all need to go over there and focus on Africa and get your shit together over there, clearly we're not the only people who feel that way. Clearly there's Africans who feel the same exact way based on what? The data and statistics, y'all. The actual factuals, the receipts. Okay? So with that being said, I'm gonna hop up off here, but thank you all for showing up, because this was a great stream, very informative. I gave y'all what y'all needed to see, and I didn't even have to say that much. All I did was add my commentary to it. But in reality, the video is the video. So I'm gonna make sure that I link that video in the chat somewhere when when this go up. I'm gonna try to make sure I put that link in the description for y'all, so y'all can click on it and have that in y'all back pocket. If ever any of these Africans want to keep talking crazy about Black Americans and our status right now in this country, let them know you ain't even on our level, family. We got enough to worry about. We got to make sure that our people is set up for the next 10, 20, 30, 100 years. Because guess what? Our ancestors did that for us. They thought enough for us. They thought enough to make it clear, hey, man, you guys deserve, you feel me? You guys deserve more than we got. And we're willing to die for this so that y'all can experience it. Okay? And that's what we do. Black Americans, we are builders. We do not take anything from anybody. We do what we gotta do in the righteous way, and we move along, because that's who we are as a people. That's what we do as a people. We don't have time to be worried about nobody else and what everybody else got going on, because that's what we do here. Straight up. Ain't no back and forth with that. It's proven. So with that being said, salute to y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe, man. We growing the channel. We still trying to reach that 1,000 subs, man. We almost there. We more than halfway. We trying to get there. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, man. My name is Brandon B. This is Elite Media, and I'm out. Peace.